So you want to learn about Eirika, huh? Let's finally get around to doing it. It's only been a few months since the game's been out. Let's make an Eirika guide. So Eirika is all about the damage. She is one of the best damage fixing emblems in the game. She works with both physical and magical units, and she can also play into an entire team comp based around using Gentility and Lunar Brace. So the Eirika ring actually has two modes, Eirika and Ephraim mode. Eirika gets you Lunar Brace and Gentility, and then you can switch at any time, and you can switch into Ephraim mode, which turns Lunar Brace into Solar Brace and Gentility into Bravery. And interestingly enough, it also affects all allies that have these passives. Lunar Brace increases physical damage dealt when you attack a foe, and it gives you a percentage of their defense as bonus damage. And this is very useful against enemies with high defense, especially when you double or quad, because every hit gets damage boosted. It only works on player phase because you do have to initiate. Lunar Brace base level is 20% of foe's defense, and Lunar Brace Plus is 30%. Gentility causes you to take 3 less damage at base, and then 5 less damage at Gentility Plus. And in order to get the plus version of both of these, you will have to do the Paralog. Now when you switch modes, you can actually manually switch by using night and day. And after doing so, you can take an action, move, and attack, but if you just like end your turn, or if you just like hit B, it'll switch back. So you actually have to commit, like if you want to switch, you have to wait or attack or do some kind of action. Also note that this Yunaka had Gentility, and now she's switched, and it's flipped it to Bravery. So base Bravery plus 3 damage. This works on enemy phase. Basically, there's a few ways of looking at this emblem. You have physical damage fixing on player phase units with Lunar Brace. So if you have a bunch of Lunar Braces, you want to stay in Eirika mode the entire time. The Gentility damage tanking is nice if you have it. You could also use Eirika mode for Gentility tanking if you have like a unit on Ike who has Gentility Plus, for example, as a passive. That's minus 5 damage taken, which, you know, when combined with Ike's high defense bonus and resolve, you're looking at extreme tanking. And you also have the player phase oriented, the enemy phase oriented Bravery mode. You also do get healing off of Solar Brace. You get 30% of damage dealt at base, 50% of damage dealt at Solar Brace Plus, and for Bravery it's plus 3 damage /5, depending on plus or not. But I look at it as player phase physical for Eirika Lunar, or enemy phase tomes, daggers, any weapon you want a damage boost with Bravery on Ephraim. And you can run Eirika on any unit, whether it be physical or magical, because Lunar Brace damage is so insane that it will take even the weakest units and usually give them enough damage to one round most things. So even if you throw it on like a low damage unit, it's going to spike their damage up. Another thing to note about this emblem is when you engage, you get both modes combined. So if I engage and just wait, you get Eclipse Brace, which combines Lunar Brace and Solar Brace, and then you get Blue Skies, which combines Gentility and Bravery. And this is also true of other units. So if you have Gentility and your Eirika unit engages for up to 3 to 4 turns, depending on how high the Eirika user's bond is, you can get 3 to 4 turns of minus 3 damage taken, plus 3 damage dealt, and then on Blue Skies Plus, you get plus 5, minus 5. So this is really good on like an Ike tank. So in this case, I'm using Marin as an Ike tank with a Steel Dagger, so she just enemy phases things, goes for crits, but now she's plus 5 damage, minus 5 damage. So now she can tank substantially better, as well as deal more damage on enemy and player phase, and it's just really flexible and really nice. Now, obviously, if you had Lunar Brace, you also get the Eclipse Brace. So you get both. And that's one unique thing about Eirika. Very few emblems, if any, have this team interaction where if you unlock an Eirika passive, you get extra effects, and you have control over those passives and effects based on what mode the Eirika unit is on, or if they're engaged or not. The stats Eirika increases are Magic, Dex, and Luck, and they max out at bond level 19 of plus 3 Magic, plus 4 Dex, and plus 10 Luck. So you can see at bond level 18, you get the plus 3 Magic, the plus 4 Dex. Now, the nice thing about this is the plus Magic is really helpful for boosting tomes, for boosting things like Levin Sword, And then when you switch to Ephraim mode, so you can get +3 magic from just having the ring equipped, and then on Ephraim mode or while engaged, you can get +5 damage with Bravery Plus. So you're looking at +8 damage on like a 11 sword or a tome. You don't get speed increase from this emblem stats, but the magic increase and the damage increase is good on a unit who's already fast enough. So in this case, a Mage Knight Chloe, a Griffin Knight Chloe, who is base 32 speed on chapter 20, which is pretty good with this. This is no DLC. So if you're fast enough and you just need damage, this is generally the emblem for you. Let's talk about the Paralog for Eirika. The Paralog is reasonably difficult. If you try to do it immediately, you can do it like immediately after you unlock her. You're not going to have too hard of a time as long as you like slow push it, and you might have to let the thieves get away. But the dragons, there's 2 big circles on this map. Those are dragons or worms. Those are easily killed by Mulagir, so you can immediately Astral Storm one of them with Mulagir and kill it, and then dance that unit and potentially like warp it to go kill the other one. So that's an option, but they are vulnerable to Wormslayer. But the map itself, it generally pushes you. You're going to have to hold choke points. You might not be ready for it right away, but it's not too bad. And eventually Eirika does push you. If you have a lot of flyers, you can kind of take advantage of the empty spaces, because most of the map is not flyers. There are flyer reinforcements, and there are reinforcements that push you, like in most maddening maps, but this is like a medium difficulty at best, or at worst. Eirika's ability that you can use once per engagement is Twin Strike. Now this is effective corrupted and does generally huge damage. It does have bonuses on certain classes. On Cav units, it's plus 50% Ephraim damage, and on Dragon units, it's plus 20% damage in general. So the way it works is it calculates your damage based on the weapon you're wielding, and I think it has to be a sword. Yeah, make a sword attack. So it can be any sword. It can be like 11 sword, it can be a Wormslayer, whatever. And then the Ephraim attack is like a lance attack, and the lance attack has pretty good damage, and because they're both effective corrupted, most things you're going to hit with this are going to get one-rounded, or at the very least take a ton of damage. So it's very powerful for just some quick burst damage, and you also don't get counterattacked because it is an engage ability. Now let's talk about the weapons. So the first weapon is a rapier. It's effective against Cavs and armored, which is very useful. So it's effective against 2 things. Then you also have a wind sword, which is 1 to 2 range, magic based, and effective against flying. So it's really good at killing like worms. It can be okay at killing wyverns. It's good at killing wyverns. It can be okay at killing griffins, but griffins have higher res, so it tends not to be as effective against them. And then you have Sieglind, which is effective against corrupted, and that's really good. Like, obviously that's really good, especially if you're on a unit with like sword power. Now you're cooking. Like, this is cracked. Like, this thing is really good. It's very light as well. All of these swords are quite light, especially compared to this 11 sword, but they're reasonably low build, or low weight, and you basically get a ton of effective weapons. It's crazy. So if you're a sword unit, this is like one of the best emblems for you, because you get effectiveness against most things in the game, and especially endgame enemies. Sieglind is so cracked because everything is corrupted endgame, so you're just constantly melting things. For Eirika's passives, Lunar Brace is really good on player phase physical units who want extra damage. It also allows them to one-round enemy armors more consistently, especially at higher levels like Lunar Brace Plus, and when doubling and quadding. Lance Agility can be quite good. You lose 10 crit, but you can get up to plus 30 agility when using a lance. 30 avoid, and you still only lose 10 crits. Now this is good for avoid tank builds. It's not going to help you with damage, but obviously if you want to just dodge tank, this is great. Gentility is really good because you get Gentility or Bravery, so you can get damage reduction and damage increase depending on if the Eirika unit is engaged. Other units will get both, or if they're on Eirika or Ephraim mode, they'll either get the tanking or the damage. Lunar Brace can be used to trigger Solar Brace, like you can switch modes, or when engaged you get both. But generally, like, you would be using it for Lunar Brace mode. Solar Brace isn't really that useful. You just heal when you attack things, it's not that great. Dodge Plus is okay, it's just crit avoid. It's kind of overpriced for what it does. Most units don't need crit avoid, doesn't really help that much. The Eirika engraving increases hit by 40, crit by 20, but it reduces your avoid by 20 and increases incoming crit rates by 20. So it's kind of like a high risk, high reward type of thing where more more enemies are going to be hitting you because you have lower avoid, and sometimes you're going to be enabling enemy crits on yourself. So it's usually used best on units with like holdout vantage units that aren't going to be getting hit, like Thoron units and stuff like that. So what I'm actually using it for in this team is it's just on one of my many Thoron units, so let's find it. Yeah, we have a Saline who's just using Thoron. It gives you hit increase so that your Thorons are accurate. So even like a low magic Saline is able to contribute some damage accurately. And sometimes, like, you know, 10 to 20% of the time she gets a crit, and that can lead to a free kill. You can use this on other units. You can also use this on like a killer bow. That would be a good use case for it. But generally, any kind of crit weapon is fine. The nice thing about this engraving is that it increases crit rate and accuracy, but does not reduce damage or influence weight at all. So it can be really good to be used on like a unit like Panette, who's running holdout plus on Roy or something with Vantage, or just generally holdout in general, so she can, you know, tank a hit if something does hit her, but she can just crit and be a crit monster. In conclusion, Eirika is a great damage fixing emblem ring that can give you access to a lot of effective damage in the form of Rapier, Windsword, Sieglinde, and Twin Strike. She can also give you tons of damage on physical units that attack on player phase with Lunar Brace. She can give you enemy phase or player phase tanking with Gentility. She can give you heal when you attack with Solar Brace. And she can also give you player and enemy phase damage increase with Bravery. And when engaged, she gives you both of those. She can also impact your team by boosting any units that are running Lunar Brace or Gentility and allowing them to be flexible and gain the benefits of both modes when engaged, or situationally, depending on which mode you're on. So she is one of the best emblems in the game, I think, for this reason, and you should definitely run her. Make sure you subscribe if you enjoyed this, and I'll see you in the next one.